Hello everyone, my name is Mattie and I have a booktube channel with my sister Amelia called Talking Over Tea. My sister's video will be coming out a little later in the day, so keep a lookout for that. This is our first collaboration and we are really honored and excited to do the roundtable read, so without further ado, let's get on to the book review. So I was given the letter C for my book, so I chose The Chosen by Chaim Potok. This one had been on my bookshelf for a really long time, so I was really excited to finally be able to read it. So The Chosen centers around an unlikely friendship between Reuven Malter, an Orthodox Jew, and Danny Saunders, a Hasidic Jew. And I'm just going to stop right there and say that I'm going to be pronouncing a lot of words wrong, I'm sure, so sorry about that. So this book is set during the end of World War I and World War I. So this book is set during the end of World War II and then a little bit after World War II, and it is set in Brooklyn. This book really focuses on two different Jewish communities and this friendship. So this was really my first introduction to any modern Jewish communities. I've never read anything like this before. So this book starts off with a baseball game between two of the Jewish schools. One is Hasidic and one is Orthodox, and it is a very heated game. So during the game, Reuben is pitcher and Danny is at the bat, and he hits the ball right into Reuben's eye and sends him to the hospital. And while Reuben is recovering, Danny comes and visits him, and after a bit of a rocky start, they strike an unlikely friendship. So that forms the basis of the book, and it's from Reuben's point of view. It follows their friendship and the differing beliefs of their communities and how they go about their friendship with that. And as Reuben comes to find out, there is a lot more going on in Danny's life, a lot of things that he does not understand and he doesn't agree with. And so that's just kind of the basics. And so now I'm going to just kind of talk about my experience reading it, what I really enjoyed or what I didn't like. So I thought this book was going to take me forever to read, and I was worried that I was not going to be able to read it in time, but the first time I picked it up, I read 60 pages like so fast. I read this book way quicker than I thought I was going to, and I just really loved this book. So actually first I want to read the blurbs on the back of the book. I think they just really speak to how good this book was. So this one is, "It makes you want to buttonhole strangers in the street to be certain they know it's around. It revives my sometimes fading belief in humanity. Works of this caliber should be occasion for singing in the streets and shouting from the rooftops." So entertaining, so full of love and compassion that readers of all persuasions will take it to their hearts. Mr. Potok is writing about two fathers and their sons, in a way that will ring just as true in Iowa as in Brooklyn. We rejoice and even weep a little. While Reuben talks, we listen because of the story he has to tell, and long afterward it remains in the mind and delights. Throughout this book, I was so invested in the characters and in the story, and the way that the author writes just pulled me in so much, but not just in a I just want to keep reading way. Every time I read it, I was left with something more. And I know I'm not describing this very well, but this book just gave me so many things to think about and so many quotes that I either really loved or agreed with or didn't agree with, but I wanted to remember because it made me think. I also learned a lot about the Jewish community, at least in the 40s, and it was just really interesting and insightful, and whether you're interested in this topic at all, I would highly recommend trying out this book. It had so many good themes of friendship and reconciliation and forgiveness and learning to work through differences, and it was just such a beautifully written book, and yet it was so real and understandable, and I really cared about what was happening even when it was going quite over my head, because this author, you can tell, is extremely smart, and the characters in this book are so smart and work so hard. They study the Talmud so much, and they do schoolwork, and they read on their own, and I barely comprehended most of the things they talked about in regards to their school, but It's also written from the point of view of a 15-year-old, so it's completely understandable and it's not pretentious, but there's still lots of math and, and things about psychoanalysis, which technically I didn't understand, but also the book was written in such a way that I did not feel like I had to know exactly what was happening or like I was stupid for not knowing. Another thing I really enjoyed about this book is that Reuben, though he is the main character, isn't exactly who the book is about. It's a similar idea to like The Great Gatsby, where the main character wasn't quite who the book was centering around, and it might just be because it's an older book and that's more of an older way to tell a story, but I really liked that, and I really wish more modern books would be like that. This book really centers around relationships between fathers and sons and friends, between leaders, and I am definitely going to be thinking about this book for a long time and most likely coming back and rereading it, and I highly, highly recommend that you give this one a try. So that is my review of The Chosen. I mostly wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed this book, and I hope that you give it a try. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we'll go check out all the other videos in the Alphabet Roundtable Read. Once again, I was so honored to be asked to participate in this collaboration, and I'm really excited to go watch everyone else's videos. Thank you so much for watching.